Same as with anything in life, there are a lot of Amazon FBA mistakes that you can be making, especially if you are a beginner and also if you are a long-term seller. I am here to break down the top possible mistakes that you could be making in your Amazon FBA business. Let's go. Hey, it's me, Karina, and welcome back to my Amazon FBA channel. I am here to break down the top mistakes that Amazon sellers make when they are beginning a business, even if they're intermediate or even long-term sellers. These are very common mistakes that should be avoided because they can be completely detrimental to your business and prevent you from scaling and going forward and really doing anything. And I just want to put it in awareness for you so you don't make these mistakes, so you can avoid making these mistakes, because it is very easy to be susceptible to making them, and we don't want that. We want to make money. And by the way, if you want to make money, subscribe to this YouTube channel. And also, if you don't want to make money, hey, just subscribe anyways. So the number one mistake is actually going to sound a little bit funny because it sounds like a non-existent mistake. And what I mean by that is it is a lack of doing something that is the number one mistake. And that is not actually sourcing the product. There are so many people that study the Amazon FBA model, they do product research, they find a list of products, but they don't actually carry through to sourcing that product. Maybe they reach out to the suppliers and get quotes, but that is as far as it goes. They don't actually take the next step, which is ordering the units to the Amazon warehouse. So how are you even planning to make some sort of change in your life if you don't take that step? And it's basically a fear-based thing, and I want to put you in awareness so you don't do this. It is not that scary to invest into Amazon FBA, and to some of you that are hearing videos that it costs a lot of money to start Amazon FBA, that is far from the truth. You don't need thousands upon thousands of dollars. The way I teach my students in my INTOAMILLI Amazon FBA course is the lowest risk possible. So you are ordering the smallest possible MOQ and you are testing the market, and that is what I teach people to do, because that way you are lowering your risk, your investment is lower, and there are ways to get the hang of the business model, still turn a profit without breaking the bank. Granted, this is not free. Of course, you have to invest money and you have to do things, but people that say I spent $20,000 and I invested $20,000 into Amazon FBA and now I'm making X amount of money, yes, there are stories like that, but there are also stories where you can invest less than $2,000 and still do exceptionally well. Now, I have a video where I break down all the Amazon FBA costs and the average price, especially if you're on the lower end, on how to actually get started and pay that lower price. So this video will be right here. I'll also link it down below if you want to check it out in more details, but just be sure you actually source a product and get into it. And you have to make sure that you are getting your knowledge from the right place and that you are fully aware of the Amazon business model, because the second mistake that most people do is they don't actually properly educate themselves with a course to know what mistakes they should avoid. There are a lot of moving parts in the Amazon FBA business model. You can figure it out, you can be successful with it, but the problem is that people are not getting the right information. They think that by saving money, that's the way to go. They don't want to invest into actually gaining knowledge. They watch a bunch of free YouTube videos and that's it. But those videos are just in jumbled components, or they are not consecutive, right? So you are not sure what step comes after that step, if there's anything in between. And that's a mistake I was fortunate enough not to make, because I am a huge course taker. You know that I have watched so many courses. It's insane, but I would not have it any other way. That investment actually helped me save so much time and money in mistakes, because if I were to be digging there through YouTube videos endlessly for months and months and months, it would spend so much time trying to piece it all together and hoping that I have the full picture, plus getting it from different people that are using different strategies. It's just not the way to go. It's great to get supplemental and additional knowledge, but if you're starting from scratch, there's no possible way that it's a good use of your time to just be doing that type of strategy. The third mistake, believe it or not, this one's gonna be a little bit crazy, and that's actually not launching your product. So people literally source the product, they ship it into Amazon warehouse, and they just let it sit there. That is just mind-blowing. I mean, they have done so much work to source the product, to find the product, to make the listing however they make it, and then it just sits there and they don't do anything. That's crazy. Again, it relates to mistake number one, which is the lack of something and the lack of actually following through, which is almost a worse mistake you can make than an actual tangible mistake with Amazon FBA. At least you learn from the other type of mistakes. These mistakes of lack of action are the worst because you literally gain nothing from it. You lose because you prevent yourself from moving forward and progressing and actually achieving the life you want to achieve if you are looking for this business model to give you financial freedom. So basically, don't do 1 and 3. Those are the worst mistakes you can do. The fourth mistake is actually something that does cost money, and that is getting an MOQ that is too high. Now, I have personally made this mistake a few times, and that could be avoided by judging the market differently. When I was a first-time seller, that is exactly what I did, and I ordered an MOQ that was way too high for a market that was just not as good as I thought because I was a new-time seller, and then I got stuck with inventory. So that wasn't that much fun, and then you have to go through all these lengths and figure out how to liquidate it to get some of your money back or all of your money back, hopefully. But it does happen sometimes. However, the best way to avoid it is the way I teach it in my course, because I like the lowest investment possible mixed with the highest action as possible. And for me, that means being able to order a small order quantity and still be successful, still launch successfully, and still get to the top of page 1. So that's exactly what I teach my students in my course. But just don't reorder. And there are different ways to judge the market to see what type of MOQ and how many products you should get, but that's for another video. The fifth mistake is not knowing your main keyword. Now, this is another costly thing. You should always be doing your product research with keyword research prior to actually sourcing and launching the product. Before you even touch the payment method with your Chinese suppliers, you need to know what your keywords are. So many people, it is alarming and it is sad, and it's a huge reason why people fail, is they launch a product or they source a product that's not the main keyword, and it ends up ranking to the first page, but it has a very low search volume. So no one is buying it, or they're getting 1 or 2 sales, but it's nothing compared to their competitors, because their competitors, yes, they are ranking for that lower word that you may be picking, but they are also ranking for the main keyword, which is where the majority of the traffic is coming from. So keyword research is an absolute must, and not after the fact, not after you order your product, not when you're optimizing your listing, before you even touch the payment method, before you even pay, because how do you know when something is successful unless you have done your keyword research? You don't. Another mistake is going into an oversaturated market, which means me too products that look pretty much the same, no differentiation, or even something that has the same amount of bundles. So a lot of the times you may think that it's a great market because it has a few components, but what you don't know is that every single seller is doing the exact same thing. So even though they're bundling their product, still it makes no sense, because essentially everyone is selling the exact same thing. So that's what you don't want to do. You want a market where you can differentiate and look better than everyone else, provide more value than everyone else, and stand out within the market. You don't want to exceed and be completely different, that no one is interested in your product. And the last mistake, and I stress this so much, especially in my course, making the best listing possible. And no, this is not just optimization or putting some words in, just like everything from A to Z, perfect to the T. I go into so much depth in my course because I want this to be right with every single student of mine. You have to have amazing photos, amazing bullets, amazing title, and there are different ways to do this, different psychological tactics, different ways to get your photos done or get cheaper photos and just make it look appealing, because that is what the customer is seeing. They cannot pick up your product. They are buying based on what they're seeing, so you have to be able to sell in that listing itself. And a lot of people just degaff it, they put whatever and they hope for the best and they hope it's gonna sell, but that decreases their conversion so much because customers are not compelled enough to buy. So basically those are the top 7 reasons. Avoid these mistakes. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so right now. All the links are listed down below, and I'll see you in my next video.